just watching a Penn State wrestling match. And Penn State is the best college wrestling team in the country by far. There's nobody even close. Their head coach, Cael Sanderson, has revolutionized college wrestling over the past, he started doing it 20 years ago when he was himself a wrestler, but as a coach over the past 15 years, he's taken it to a different level, and everybody is chasing Penn State, so he's made everybody else better. And Cael himself was undefeated as a college wrestler. And he was very humble. And one thing that I've noticed about his wrestlers for the past many years is that they are not humble. They are arrogant. Or at least it seems that way to me. And I guess it's hard to be humble when you're as good as they are. But it's just striking to me how arrogant they are. And that he allows it to happen. I would not expect that to be the case for someone as apparently humble as him. Now, maybe he's changed over the years. Maybe he's also grown arrogant with success. But it doesn't make sense to me. And some of the things that they do really disgust me. And it shows that they look down on their opponents, which is disappointing. And I notice that I try to justify it or talk myself out of it because I don't want to have bad opinions of them, but they just keep doing it over and over again. And I don't exactly understand the mentality. I mean, I guess it's that Cael Sanderson doesn't want to stifle his team's competitiveness and creativity and will to win, so he lets them get away with behaving the way that they behave. But I don't know. There's got to be a different way. So this is what goes through my head. And unfortunately, it makes it hard to root for them. I find myself actually hoping that they'll lose, even though I know they won't. They're so far ahead of everybody else. It's practically impossible for them to lose as a team. And they'll probably be dominant for another 10 years, if not more. Because Cael is, I think, 45. So he's got, I guess, somewhere between 10 and 15 more years that he's really in his prime as a coach. And then they'll probably start to decline inevitably. But, it'll end up being a good 30 years of dominance. Um, and they'll be the greatest dynasty that the sport has seen. And, they'll make everybody else better, and hopefully their wrestlers will go on and be coaches in other places and make those places better. So, yeah, it'll be great. But it's kind of hard to understand, because the other thing too is, like, they're very religious. Like, they don't hide their religiosity. Everyone knows that religion is a big deal to Kale and to his wrestlers. Although Kale didn't really talk about it much when he was a wrestler, and he doesn't really grant interviews often. But his wrestlers like to give interviews, and they like to talk in public, and they say whatever they think. And a lot of it has to do with religion. So they talk about God, but they behave in a way that is less than godly, in my opinion. So it's disappointing. And maybe it's that people get so good at something that they feel like, standards don't apply to them. And they can behave however they want. Which would be easy. Like, they're so good. They're so much better than everyone else around them. Like, no one else has ever been as good as them. They're in a realm that no one else has ever inhabited. So when you're in that kind of space, it's easy to think no one else's opinion matters. But the thing is, people do matter. And God is watching. So you still have to be humble. And you still have to treat people with decency and respect. And unfortunately, that piece is lacking consistently.